Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to Non-Fictionation. This is the spoiler review for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So, same like the other one, I'm just gonna jump right into it. I just saw the movie not even 2 hours ago. So this is really fresh out of the theater reaction, if you will. Um, I'm gonna start from the beginning of the movie and then work my way through. So, right off the bat, as I mentioned in my non-spoiler review, this movie looked amazing. It looked better than any of the MCU Spider-Man movies that have come out thus far. Particularly, it reminded me of how Spider-Man 2 looked, like the Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. In fact, there were some callbacks to that movie that I really enjoyed. The suit, the suit looked awesome. The callback, the inspiration clearly from like the raised webbing of Toby's suit and the blue, the emphasis on a lot of blue from Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man. Loved that. Um, the swinging looked real because it was. We all saw that footage of them filming in Glasgow about a year ago or more, and yeah, they incorporate him really swinging in a lot of scenes. As I mentioned in my non-spoiler review, there was a physical suit that Tom Holland wore throughout all of the MCU Spider-Man movies. But they ended up just painting over it with CG. So it ultimately ended up being a visual effects, uh, mostly visual effects. Like most of what we saw of Spider-Man in those movies, especially action scenes, were visual effects. This was a perfect blend of the two, which is always how it's done, right? And practical fully whenever they could. Dustin Daniel Cretton, dude, you are the fucking man. I loved Shang-Chi, and I fucking love this. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I, at first I was like, oh, do I like it more than I did Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire? The answer is yes. I did. I did. And I just saw that movie recently before watching this one. I watched it last week. And it's amazing. It's so good for the time, 2004. This is kind of like that, but for 2026. Like it's so good for the time. In a day where CGI looks so shitty in so many movies, it looks like we've had backwards progression in that world. People say it all the time online. But yeah, anyways, I just think that how it looked, like the swinging and the web effects, they look different in this movie than they have in any other movie that we've seen with MCU Spider-Man. Not in a bad way. It looks different. How the light reflects off of it, how it looks, its translucence, its transparency, all of that looks different. It's a new director. It's no longer this Webb guy. James Webb, I think was his name, or Mark Webb, I forget. But man, Dustin Daniel Cretton killed it. And then incorporating Punisher in this movie, which we meet pretty early on, like really early on. And yes, yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard, maybe watching other spoiler reviews, but yeah, most of the trailer happens in like the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie. And Tombstone was literally like one scene. He's in the movie for like 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds. Like it's crazy. Um, but I liked that we go through like a montage of like 4 years passing each year of college, and he's like going. These are all the villains that he's fought throughout all the years, and now he's Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like now he's he's no longer in the intro phase, the origin phase. Like if you think about it, like his origin lasted damn near 8 years. Like from like the first time we saw him in Civil War all the way till No Way Home. No Way Home, Aunt May dies, and that's where we first hear, with great power comes great responsibility. And everybody I felt like at the end of that movie, we got Spider-Man. Like this is it. And even like at the end when he's like fighting the Green Goblin, and you really everybody, it was a talking point of that movie after it had come out. A lot of YouTubers that review. I remember Jeremy Johns, Chris Stuckman, uh, Charlie from Emergency Awesome, Eric Voss from New Rockstars, they were all saying same thing that I thought, which was that now he feels like a proper Peter Parker Spider-Man. And not just that, but like he's Spider-Man now. He's not Spider-Boy or Stark Boy, you know, like he was kind of under the wing of Tony and his tech the whole time. Then, after No Way Home, he became this isolated um kind of like, I forget the term because it's escaping me right now, but it's a term used for like those like more like isolated storylines where it's just like Spider-Man doing Spider-Man city stuff where it's not really connected to the larger, greater Marvel and MCU universe. Um, yeah, basically it's just like kind of like isolated. Kind of like how Daredevil was isolated and he's doing his own like there's it's it's contained stories. There we go. I think that was the word. It's contained. And this movie felt like it was able to bring it down to a contained level where we're just dealing with street level stuff for Spider-Man, but yet at the same time, ever so elegantly mixed it in with the greater MCU. We get Yelena in this movie, which by the way, I did not even I didn't know this until I saw a spoiler of it on Friday. And then I was like, oh, Yelena's in the movie. Great. I don't want to know anything else. I didn't look at anything else. And her role in the movie is not low, not high, but substantial enough. And connecting the story to the greater MCU and what's ultimately going to happen in Doomsday, right? And then I actually want to now kind of jump to something I just remembered to talk about, which is Jean Grey. They kind of made her like seem like a little bad, like, but it made her more human. I think it made her like more realistic. Like she's not some goody two shoes like girl who's gonna, we all know she's gonna ultimately become an X-Man. So like she has to be good, and sometimes they overdo it when introducing new characters that are supposed to be a big deal, and at least I think so. So, but the way they did this was very good. It was realistic. It was believable. She lost her fucking sister. I would fucking mow through those people if my brother would have been killed by them. Like if it would have been me, I would have killed that dude. Like no problem. So the fact that she even had the intent to and tried to, it's realistic. It's grounded. It's awesome. I I loved how they showed her powers as like being like there, but not at the full level that we know her as, and how like by the end it got, excuse me, it got there. But before I get there, let's go in order. So, damn it. So, I bet you guys can tell what that is. The old Pen Affleck falling all the time. Anyways, okay, so all the parts with MJ, I really loved. That scene where she's fucking with his head, where she makes Peter think that MJ is like saying like, oh, like I remember you somehow, but I don't know how. And then she kisses him and says like, I just need to know like who you are. And she like lifts up the mask, kind of like in Spider-Man 1, but like they were standing up. She only gets the lips up, and then they make out with her, and then she starts talking shit to him, and then he realizes, oh my god, it's Jean. Little by little, or whatever, he eventually like gets like his mask catches like a photo of Jean, and he runs it through his like AI software, facial recognition. He has like all the cameras in the city tapped into his AI is tapped into all the cameras. They're running facial recognition for him. It's illegal. This cop mentions that to him. She's like, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that. But anyways, that's how he finds out that she's Jean Grey, because it cross references it with a bunch of data and like saying that like I actually forgot. Like I think it said something about her and her sister being in like the foster system. And yeah, like basically we eventually like get this flashback scene with Jean Grey and her sister. Turns out her sister is a telepath just like her, and she's teaching her how to body hop. And she's like explaining to her the concept of how like you have to do it. We have like a radius. So like you have to be kind of close to somebody to be able to jump into their body. So she was like trying to get to this woman on the far end of the park they were at, and she's like, no, you gotta like start somewhere closer, like start with that person, then jump to that person, then get there. And then as she's like showing her, the Department of Damage Control shows up. They fucking they shoot a dart into her sister. They take her into custody, and then her sister like takes control of Jean Grey and makes her run away so that she can get away. Yeah. Anyways, that was crazy. The Punisher. Oh, so I'm gonna jump back now to MJ. So basically, like Peter had shown up to MJ's place. The reason why like that whole scene happened where like she like fucked with him like is because like Jean Grey had like taken over MJ's brain and like was making MJ say all these things. Like Jean had already been inside of Peter's apartment in a previous scene where she found the note that he wrote to MJ after at the end of No Way Home, where he's explaining what happened with the spell and her forgetting him and all that, and that they used to be in love, whatever. And he still hasn't shown her that note or told her that. So Jean had already read it and was like teasing him about it. And he's like, I'm gonna find out where you are. And she's like, well, I'm gonna find MJ and let's see what she has to say or whatever. Blah blah. She was threatening him with MJ. She eventually starts like literally like she's on the way to MJ's house and shit, like body hopping, and then Peter like traps her up like a helicopter. He like webs it all up and realizes that she has like a certain radius of 33 feet where she can't body hop. So like he keeps her there, whatever. That's why like he goes to MJ's house and he's like, you're in danger. There's somebody that's coming after you. We have to go. You have to trust me. She's like, oh, okay, whatever. So they get up to like this like scaffolding thing or whatever, like this tall thing. They're like high up. And that's where MJ's like, I don't know, I get this feeling that like I know who you are and that we were something to each other. And he like starts breaking down crying, saying like I've missed you so much and whatever, like. And then they kiss, and like she kisses him. She goes in for the kiss. Um so she goes in for the kiss and they start making out, and then like when they pull away, like that's when she starts like kind of teasing him and like saying mean things, almost like he's pathetic or whatever. And then that's when he puts two and two together that like, oh, this is not MJ, like this is Jean Grey like possessing her. So whatever. After that, they go to Frank's place, and he's like, Frank, I need your help to take care of her. Whatever. I'm gonna fix this chip. Oh yeah. So as his powers are like evolving and stuff, like he's getting like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man upgrades. Like he has organic webs. He's stronger. His senses are heightened, but like it's like to the point where it's like in Man of Steel, where it's like too much. Like, ugh. So he builds this little chip based off of Bruce Banner's tech to control the Hulk. He had gone to go speak with him and had some theoretical questions about how Banner's tech works to suppress certain genes and for his Hulk stuff. So then Peter builds his own version of one, and it works actually. Like eventually it works. Like a few didn't work. But then one works, and then he gets, because like when he has the organic webs, he can't use the web shooters. So because they were like, you have the organic web coming out at a high pressure, and it would like blow them off. So once he had the chip on, his organic webs wouldn't come out anymore. It was suppressed, and then he put back the web shooters, and then essentially Jean Grey, at this point, like she breaks into damage control for like the fourth time, and you hear this like pounding and pounding, and all the damage control guys like down there with a bunch of soldiers, they're guarding this big door. That the reason why Jean's been going after damage control is because her sister sent her a telepathic message that said something that said K-Max, K-M-A-X. So she's like trying to figure out what that is. Peter had asked this dude from damage control, the black dude, and he was like, I don't know what that is. Anyways, long story short, Jean Grey was able to possess Bruce Banner and made him break off the Hulk suppressor, and then he became Smart Hulk again, right? So Smart Hulk is like, he's possessed, so he's like pounding on the wall, and then eventually breaks through it. But then something happens with like Jean Grey where they like, I actually forgot how they stunned her, but she got stunned, and Bruce Banner got back into control of, Smart Hulk, and then came back down to like a normal Bruce Banner level. He turned back to human form, and then Spider Man's trying to get him out of there, and he like kind of gets angry. Like he's like, his head hurts and all that. He's hurt, and so he's like, "Oh no, I'm losing control." He turns into the fucking Hulk, and the fight scene that ensues is incredible. The Punisher pulls up, shoots him, whatever, and then eventually, like, the Hulk pins down Spider-Man, and he's like, "Please, you know me. You know who you are. You're Bruce Banner, whatever, something like that." Gave him a lullaby essentially, and he let go of Peter. He was gonna kill him. Like, he had him pinned, and then he just let himself fall with like this building that was attached to a bunch of webs. The Spider-Man had webbed him, and those pieces of the building pulled him down, and he fell down. And you see that he got pulled into an ambulance, and after the whole ordeal, and he got taken to the hospital, or whatever. Actually, a psychiatric hospital. Poor guy. Probably lost his job as a professor too. But anyways, shortly after that, the main climax happens. The fight happens. He fights the Hand, which is being controlled by Jean Grey. Oh, and then they captured Jean Grey. They darted her because somehow she got incapacitated. But they darted her, and then they put her in this room, and they're testing her. They found a way to trigger her body hopping, and they're trying to like copy it to like make soldiers that can do that. Anyways, they keep doing it at a higher and higher level, and she's like getting like almost like hurt by it. And then she's like looking up, like she's like in this chair tied up, and she's like looking up, and she sees in the ceiling there's the AC, and the AC unit, it says V max for vent max, but the ENT was like all faded away. And then she puts two and two together. That's the last thing that her sister saw before she died. So she has her own Hulk out moment, loses it, and breaks all the glass around her. Fucking takes the fucking black dude from damage control, which I'm sorry, I forget his name. I think his last name is Metzger. But anyways, she like starts pointing a bunch of glass at him. I'm gonna kill him. Spider-Man fucking breaks in, gives her the whole superhero talk. "You don't do this, villain. You're better than this." Blah blah blah. She goes inside his head. She sees Aunt May. Aunt May talks to her, gives her a loving talk. They hug. She hugs Spider-Man. And then Frank is set up with a 50 cal, like fucking 200 yards away. And he fires. And all of a sudden, as they're in that vision of with Aunt May, like, and she now Jean Grey's calmed down. Spider-Man hears the gun cocking and the bullet firing, and he like gets in the way, takes a 50 cal for her, and like, bro, you see blood like pooling around him. Think he's gonna die. And she's like, "No, no." And she was apparently using her powers to like stop the arterial bleeding after he got shot, but you see like so much blood behind him. And whatever, they take him into the hospital. The news says that he's in critical condition, and ultimately he pulls through. And Frank is right there waiting for him to wake up. There's a very sweet moment where Frank starts to tear up while they're talking. And yeah, like, Spider-Man gets better. He gets out of the hospital. Frank distracts the crowd by putting on the Spider-Man mask. It was really funny, especially when he's like, like in the mask. You'll see it when you see the movie. But anyways, yeah, man. Then that's it. Like, the movie's pretty much over. Then like the last scene, he like sees Ned at a coffee shop or a bodega, and he goes up to him and doesn't tell him anything yet. I'm probably gonna do a separate video on like the Peter and MJ relationship situation, because that's a whole video I want to make on its own. So I will get into that. I know I didn't get into it much in this video, but I will in the next. And she told him at one point, like, you could tell him, like, he can handle it. Like, you should tell him. Because she found the note, by the way, while she was waiting at Frank's place while he went off to go. Yeah, I forget exactly, but she found the note and now knows exactly what happened, the spell, everything. And she ends up telling him, like, that spell worked because I don't know you and I don't love you and I don't want to get your hopes up. Like, it was real. It was real. But it doesn't close the door. It leaves open a room for them to, and you could tell that, like, she clearly, like, loves him, especially after that, you know. Like, after that in the movie, it shows that, like, she loves him and cares for him. But anyways, at the last scene, he sees Ned at a coffee shop and he dabs him up, right? He's like, "Oh, my name's Peter," or whatever. He's like, "Okay, well, catch you later." And they do the fucking their signature handshake, and Ned's like freaked out. He's like, "How do I know this?" And then right after, he just goes, "Peter." So I think he remembers who Peter is, which is awesome. I mean, overall, you guys, I loved this movie. I give it a solid 10 out of 10. For the people who have a stick up their ass, 9 out of 10. But really, it's 10 out of 10. Whew. Man, I'm like getting out of breath talking about it. Number one, because my camcorder is, whew, it's blinking, it has no battery. So that's why I've been talking pretty fast throughout this spoiler talk. But I kind of like it. I feel like I got more to the point. And you guys have ears. If you guys can hear it, you know, I don't need to talk slow for people. It's a big flaw of mine where I feel like I need to do that. Plus, you guys can slow down the video. But yeah, guys, I'm really happy that you guys tuned in to watch my spoiler review. Thanks again for tuning in to Non-Fictionation. Please like the video, subscribe, please, and also please comment and let's talk about the movie in the comments. I'm more than happy to comment back and have a conversation going. But yeah, guys, Spider-Man: Brand New Day is amazing, and it is a true Spider-Man movie. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great night, guys. Good night.